Hi guys, welcome to another installment of What Could He Be a Tutor? Today I'm going to take you guys through basically how to perform a database upgrade, a clusterware upgrade, and an Oracle software upgrade. I'm just going to cover, basically the how, the why, and the when to perform an upgrade, and also I'm going to give you some reasons why not to perform an upgrade um, for your um, for your configuration if it's just it's in a database or if you have a Clusterware install. I'm going to tell you why not to perform an upgrade. So these are the things that I'm going to cover. So basically, I'm gonna go to basically just gauging whether or not you should basically just go for the latest Oracle software release. What are the benefits and basically and also if you can and it would and is it actually possible for you to make that leap and to upgrade your Oracle software. And I'm also going to cover how your current Oracle version is different from the newer version. I'm gonna just go into a little bit details as far as the features set that are in the new release. I'm also going to cover basically just whether or not the two softwares are compatible. If you can make if it's actually if you're actually permitted to perform that upgrade. And again, it's just going to be what the version that you already have. Basically in compatibility with the version that you're looking to install onto your system. And I'm going to go over basically there's a compatibility grid for each Oracle version. I'm going to tell you, if you have 9, I'm going to tell you if you can actually, if you can actually make an upgrade to 11G and basically how to make that upgrade. I'm also going to cover, the clusterware versions. Again, you have to gauge your compatibility with the software upgrade, but you also have to gauge your compatibility with the clusterware upgrade. You have to figure out which versions of the old clusterware can actually just can enter can which versions can transition your installed clusterware into. Uh, Again, I'm going to cover the compatibility grid for the clusterware, and I'm going to go into basically the environment that you have. What type of OS do you have? What are the hardware pieces? What kind of configuration you're going to need to be able to go through with the upgrade. I'm also going to cover some upgrade and downgrade concepts for both the Oracle Clusterware and also for the Oracle software, as well as for the Oracle databases. And I'm also going to cover what are the best practices and basically the steps that you can follow after no, not after, but to basically to have a successful upgrade. Again, for those three components: the software, the clusterware, and the databases. I'm also going to cover the grid infrastructure software. Basically, again, I'm gonna go into details as far as what is grid, what is the clusterware, and what is ASM, and how do those three individual pieces sort of gel to again to how do they make sense as technology and when you use it local. I'm also going to cover basically what you do after you've performed a successful upgrade. Again, which method that you're likely to use. I have two. I have one method listed here, and then in the next line, I have the other one. So I'm going to cover what these two are. I'm going to cover what the rolling upgrade is and what the non-rolling upgrade is. And then I'm just going to have endnotes for basically just the upgrade. Again, for the three components I'm doing that I'll be performing the upgrade on. I'm also going to cover just basically again, the preparation steps for the again for the again for the Oracle software upgrade. And I'm also going to cover some some administration some administering that has to take place on the actual on the databases, basically that are again that are already connected to the grid software. I'm also going to cover the Oracle database upgrade steps. I want to cover the post upgrade checks to perform. I'm going to cover a summary. I'm going to give you a summary of the manual database manual database upgrade steps. I'm going to cover again which method you can use manual. What is another method? I'm also going to advise. I'm also going to take you guys to how to use it. And I'm also going to I'm going to cover some of the common problems and the fixes for those problems after you perform an upgrade. So basically, the question is: should you perform that? Should you upgrade your latest Oracle release, software release to basically a newer version? Basically, that actually depends. So if you have a stable system, then basically and you feel comfortable with what's with the performance, with how it's responding to the user sessions are not being and not slowing down in any way. There's no degradation in your configuration, so you're fine as far as not as far as making that leap and go forward with a performance upgrade. But then again, you have to weight that with basically the newer technology and what the feature set are for that new technology. Basically, what are the offerings that can, let's say you sort of make cut down on time that it takes for particular operation from your current Oracle installation. So you have to weigh those two options. And also you have to consider how skilled are you technically, when you look at your staff, like who's able to perform what, and can you actually handle the workload that comes with performing an upgrade. Again, you have to just consider the features. The features are really important. You have to consider basically if you have 9i and basically you're concerned about am I going to be able to perform the right type of recoveries, and am I going to be able to have my system is my system going to be available at all times for my users? That's a really good question. That's a really good edge question actually, and you have to basically just ask yourself that: can you allow yourself not to move from an 9i to let's say an 11G R2, which is a more commonly used version. Again, the feature set as far as the recoverability and availability for those two versions are night and day. So you have to just do your research on basically how you want to address the user experience within your Oracle software. You also have to basically just consider some bug fixes that may have been applied by Oracle. So again, Oracle is not a perfect product, but basically from one version to the next, there are some fixes that are again, Oracle acknowledges that those bugs exist. So basically, what they would do is they would fix those bugs in a new release. So basically, you have to just weigh that take that into consideration. Am I going to be fine with this bug that I have in my current system, as opposed to having a new system where that bug has been fixed. And also, you have to consider the different enhancements. Again, that's part of the feature sets. And also, you have to just consider the new applications that you can use. For example, like if you look at Enterprise Manager, Enterprise Manager actually has not always been the graphic tool that it is now. In the past, it used to be just like a Java tool with some it sort of performed the same function, but it was very scaled back. So it was just a Java tool. For you had to actually connect with a client to be able to access or to to get the same viewpoint that you had with enterprise managers. It was very it was not as he was not as coherent as the enterprise manager is, but that has been fixed with enterprise manager. So you have to consider the applications that are the improvements that are taking place on the different open applications that your users will be using, or that you'll be using, or your user will be using as well. Um, and then also, this is very important, right? Upgrades do not have to be performed. Basically, if you have an environment that you're satisfied with, you can remember that with that environment. Again, just do the do some sort of some factually based analysis. Feature based, or if it's cost, just weigh different, like factor in many different things and see if you're going to be benefiting from your current system as opposed to a newer system. And also you have to just consider, this is something you cannot avoid. So you have to again just account for legacy applications. For example, like again this is no technology, so the chances of you finding that it can integrate well with new software is those chances are relatively low. But basically again if you want to make that jump to a new technology, then that's one of the risks that you have to take. But again, if you have a legacy application that you're comfortable with, and you think that that's going to be enough for your current configuration, you can remain with that with your software, and then use a legacy application. But again, technology, there might be a time when, for example, look at a new technology that Oracle has come out with, the WebLogic server. Basically, what a WebLogic server does is it resolves the issue with legacy applications. It actually makes legacy applications integrable with the newer technology. So you have to just consider those different options. Like, are you willing to bypass, the old application that you're used to using, and not consider the new applications would basically can integrate with the old application, but would basically just require for you to make a sort of a bigger commitment to to just an overall of your entire technology setup. And basically you also have to weigh the basically the again, these are just standards, right? So in terms of so again, if you, let's say you're a bank, this is a perfect example. Banks have standards that are very released. So basically, if you're a bank, basically you have no choice, because you have to upgrade your technology to match the new standards. Again, what you're doing is you want to make your environment as secure as possible, and the standards that are released are actually meant to address the flaws that were found in the previous technology. So you have to keep advancing as a if you're a banking unit with your technology. Um, and also in terms of having an old technology, and considering from an upgrade. So actually, it's gonna cost you more if you have an old technology and you're still trying to rely on Oracle support. Trying to use MetaLink. So again, so the way that Oracle works is, when they release a new technology, they they don't expect that everyone is gonna move over to the new technology and start using it. But what they do is they would actually just basically just release a different sort of support, sort of like a support plan for companies or for clients with older technology, but basically you actually pay more because you have an old technology. So that's actually another thing that you have to consider. Can you afford to just basically stick with an old technology and basically just overpay for the support services that you're receiving from Oracle? And basically, just in terms of your current configuration, so you just have to just keep in mind, okay, how is my current configuration different from what I'm looking to install on my system. So again, you have these. I'm gonna be basically focusing on these Oracle versions. I'm gonna focus on Oracle 9i release 1 and 2, Oracle 10G release 1 and 2, and Oracle 11G release 1 and 2. So I'm going, again, some of the features that you would that you would basically you would see encountering while using an Oracle software is like export the ability to export and import. Again, these are just utilities that you find in 10G. But basically, from these two utilities from 10G to 11G actually have actually been exponentially enhanced. So basically, with 10G before, what you had is you just had a some sort of it was an export and import and import capability, but it was basically back again. But now what you have it's more robust in 11G, and you have it's actually called data pump. So basically you have it's not just the old commands which were exp and imp, but now they're actually expdp and impdb. And again, this feature set has been enhanced from 10G to 11G. So again, are you willing to to overlook this exponential progress for in terms of something as essential as basically just the ability to export a data set and to import data sets, basically from database across databases. And also, you just have to again, and another example is the automatic memory management. Basically, it was actually introduced in 11G. But basically, in terms of how this new technology came about, before, let's say, okay, in 10G, for example, this automatic memory management was not available. What you had to do everything manually. So you have to manually administer the manually do the resizing for the PG and the SGA. And basically, if again, what would happen is that the users will start experiencing some sort of performance degradation. Then what you do is you just go in there manually and try to resize the PGA and the SGA to just trying to get the sessions to get back to just optimal speed. Um, so with 11G, automatic memory management actually came out. So what automatic memory management does is it does the allocating for the memory resources, both for the SGA and for the PGA. So all you have to do is you just set a maximum threshold, and those two, the memories for the PGA and the SGA are automatically assigned by the by the AMM sort of system. And basically, what you're doing is you just set once you set the parameter, the memory target parameter. Again, those two sizes, SGA and PGA sizes, again they're gonna be allocated as a system, as the Oracle software sees fit. Again, based on the amount of activity taking place on the Oracle database. So, in terms of again, another feature that you can refer to is, for example, in Oracle 11G, you have basically a new feature basically that allows for indexes to be invisible. It's been released basically again. So think about it this way, right? So in terms of how the Oracle software works internally, you have again everything is based on on the optimizer, right? So the optimizer is doing all the work. So let's say you have the optimizer doing all the work, and what the optimizer is doing is actually reading all the database object in order to get definition for the different users. So with the indexes, with having this clause, invisible clauses, it actually makes it easier for the optimizer to get through the different individual database objects. Why? Because if you make an index invisible, for example, what the optimizer can do is it's gonna look past that object because that object's not very relevant to it. So basically, it's gonna sort of streamline the amount of work that the optimizer will be doing, and and also the amount of the number of resources that he'd be using up to satisfy different requests from users. So again, that's another feature that's part that's part of the 11G package. That's not included in the previous packages, in the previous Oracle release packages. And also now in 11G you have virtual columns. Again, basically what they do is they allow for you to just sort of have a column where basically your calculate values actually going to. So let's say you have a you're trying to calculate, let's say how much is someone going to get paid per year, per month. So basically, what you be able to do is you be able to use the virtual column. You would have a column for the two values, and then to figure out how much you're paying per month, you would just basically just have basically that you would just assign that to the as the final column, as the virtual column, as a column where the calculation will be taking place. So the same example of what the virtual column will look like. So you have if again if you're trying to figure out what they're making in a and if it's a month, if it's whatever you're trying to figure out, you just set that calculation as part of your virtual column, and that will be that's going to be calculated. Would you not having to do some sort of any sort of oversight. And then again, another feature is that you are able to encrypt table spaces in 11G. That's not available in 10G. Again, by encrypting table spaces, what I'm saying is that what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to basically just have keys that will be basically probably on your in your desktop environment, where basically a user would have to be able to get access to that key to be able to actually get access to the table space. That's a feature that you have in 11G, but you don't have that in 10G. Again, that feature is actually referred to as TDE. It's the encryption, it's table space encryption, but again, TDE is just the short name for it. And also, again, in terms of how perform an upgrade, so you have a direct upgrade and you have an indirect upgrade. I'm gonna cover what an indirect upgrade is in a little bit. A direct upgrade basically is just it's a version upgrade to a new basically Oracle release version. So it will be basically just if you have a 10G R2 and you're upgrading to a 11G R1, that's a direct upgrade. So basically there's no in between stop for your upgrade. An indirect upgrade is actually the opposite of that. So basically, typically with indirect upgrade, you're required to have a stopgap version upgrade. So it will be basically more of a you'd have to go from a 9i to a 10G to an 11G. Being 10G being the stopgap version that you'd be upgrading to. So that's the difference between a direct upgrade and an indirect upgrade. And this is actually going to This is actually going to be a very important concept when you actually get into the clusterware, because the clusterwares are configured differently from the different for different versions. I'm going to get into that just in a little bit, but again, this is very important just to be able to perform direct upgrade or to how to perform a direct upgrade. So basically the different paths for the upgrades, I'll have them listed here. So basically you can only if you're trying to if you have a version 7 and you're trying to upgrade to let's say a version 11G, to again 7 is really old. So basically what you have to do is you have to upgrade to Oracle 9i release 2. And again, this is the specific version that you would have to have basically in your system. This version or higher to be able to get to version 11 to 11GR2. So again, this is basically so when I say release 2, like you also have to there are particular patch releases that had to be also installed for you to actually do make the upgrade to a newer Oracle version. So basically, once you have so this is the path you get from the 7.3.4 to all the way up to 11G R2, and this is the path to get to from 9i to 11G R1. So basically, this is the version that you would have to be in. Oracle 9i release 2, 0.0.4, be able to upgrade to basically Oracle 11G release 1. And okay, and again, so in terms of upgrading to and I release one. So okay, so let me just to make this a little bit clear for you guys. So version 7 stopgap is 9i release 2. The specific patch the specific patch has to be applied, and you have, and that's to get to 11gr2. 9i release 2 again. You have to get to this version. That's if you're starting with this one, then you have to get to this version to be able to get to Oracle to version 11gr1. And if you have 9i release 1, then you would have to again this one should be right here. If you have 9i release 1, you need to have this point 4 patch to be able to upgrade to 10gr1 or to 10gr2. And also and also if you have an Oracle, you have a version 8, and you're trying to get to 11gr1 or to 11gr2, basically you would have to have this specific version of 8.6, 8.0.6. Basically, this will be the release patch. You have to basically just apply this to get to 9IR2, and then once you get to 9IR2, then you'll be able to basically fully upgrade to 11gr1 or 11gr2. So basically, just there are specific paths that you have to specific stopgap version that you have to have for you to basically just make the complete upgrade into in your Oracle release. So again, this is another path. If you have an Oracle version 8, 8 release 1, this is a specific patch that you have to have that's applied, and you have to have this to be able to upgrade to Oracle version 10G release 1 or 10G release 2. And just to make sure, yeah, you have to have this specific patch for 8 Oracle 8 I to be able to get to these two 10gr1 and 10gr2. And so basically, when you actually upgrade to 10gr1, basically the following upgrade basically would have to be, so if you have 10gr1, that's release 1, so again 10.1.0.5. So basically, you have to have this specific patch or anything higher than this to get to 11gr2. So again, this is sort of, I think all the steps that I covered so far, like I've only got to like almost 11, yeah. So I've only gotten to 11gr2 on this one, and on this one, and on this one as well. But when you get to like 10gr1, 10gr2, basically these are the specific events that you have to have installed for you to make the upgrade into 11gr2. And also when you're upgrading again, so this is for 10G release 1. When you have 10G release 2 installed on your system, the next upgrade you can to perform to upgrade to 11gr1 or 11, or actually no, to upgrade to 11gr2, you would have to have basically just this specific patch installed at 10.2.02. This one or anything higher than this, be able to basically upgrade into Oracle 11gr2. And also, if you have Oracle 11gr1, basically to convert to upgrading to Oracle gr2, Oracle 11gr2, you would have to have this specific patch, the 11.1.0.6, or anything greater than this, to be able to upgrade to version 11gr2. So just again, if you do just a little bit of research, you'll be able to find a graph, a compatibility grid, as it is called, for these upgrade paths. And in terms of, so I just covered the Oracle software, the different upgrade paths for the Oracle software. So I'm going to cover the upgrade paths for the Oracle Clusterware. Again, it's the same. It's sort of the same thing, but there aren't as many stopgap for Oracle Clusterware. So basically, Clusterware was introduced in Oracle 9i release 2. Basically, the Clusterware is actually name of an Oracle software. So basically, what that I mean. So if you look at the at a diagram for basically what are the internal pieces for for your grid, your rack configuration. Basically at the outer layer would be the clusterware and the ASM. Basically, clusterware is basically it's just it's a patch set of it's a patch set of different services. Basically, it processes different processes and all those pieces are actually responsible for you being able to basically have a shared storage for basically for all your nodes, for you being able to basically just have the nodes the nodes actually communicate with each other, and to just just service different sessions. Those are basically all those functionalities are included inside the clusterware. So that's the significance, the importance of an open clusterware. So basically, again, as I've just mentioned, open storage management. I'm going to go into details as to basically just how the ASM is different now than compared to what it was in the past. So basically, with over clusterware, you can upgrade. You would have to have if you're trying to upgrade your old clusterware, you would have to have you have a clusterware version 10. You would have to have the specific patch set or patch release. You know, if your goal is to get to 11GR2, this is what you need. You would have to have a 10.1.0.05, 10.1.0.05, yeah, point 5. To go upgrade to 11GR2. Not 11GR2, but 11 to 11.2, which is the next the goal for your clusterware. And then if you have in a old clusterware version 10.2. Basically, you have to have this specific patch release, point 2.0.3 to be able to upgrade to 11G, to Oracle Clusterware 11G.2. And basically, in terms of so if you were to go as far back as just having a 9.9 clusterware, you would have to have basically if you have an R2 clusterware, you would have to, again, this is in R2 clusterware, not R2 clusterware, is the first time, is the first introduction for the Oracle clusterware. So this is the very beginning of clusterware technology. So basically here you would have a 9R2. Again, no ASM is included, and no clusterware. So basically that's just again in terms of performing an upgrade, like the steps for this one is very complicated because of these setbacks, inability to upgrade ASM or clusterware. I'm going to go into details as far as like what exactly does this mean. And also cluster, in terms of clusterware, if you have a old clusterware version 11G release 1, that can be easily upgraded into old clusterware 11.11 release 2. No matter what the the patch release is for the 11G, 11 GR2 old clusterware. So basically, yeah, I just noticed that there's a cutoff here, but basically what I'm asking is, are the two clusterware that you have, are they compatible? Again, same question I asked with the software. So basically, as I've already just covered with Oracle software, like with the Oracle clusterware, again, when you ask yourself the same question, you have to have which exact versions you can use. You would have to have installed to make that upgrade. And also, in terms of performing the actual upgrade for the Oracle clusterware, there's a so you have the ability to perform what's known as a rolling upgrade. By rolling upgrade, basically what I'm saying is that you can upgrade the different nodes and still have the and still be able to service the different user sessions. So there are two options. Rolling upgrade is you have the nodes up and running. You can service the different user sessions, and there's availability, there's all the options with availability, security, and recoverability. All those are still basically being sort of being provided to the users. But also you have a non-rolling upgrade, where basically those where you would have to have a complete shutdown of your rack environment, where there will be no servicing of user sessions. So basically, in terms of performing a Clusterware upgrade for these two release versions, basically you'd be able to perform a rolling upgrade for the Clusterware, but you would not be able to perform a rolling upgrade for the ASM. That's the reason why I had actually separated these two, because the way that Oracle the old Oracle technology actually did not package these two. They were separate entities. So now they're actually just one, and again, that's the benefits of I'm not going into details like what is the benefit of having just one single technology, where you have a customer and the ASM basically you just installed there at the same time. And so basically, so again, you will not be able to, if you have these two release versions, you will not be able to basically do an ASM boarding upgrade. So definitely you would have to have your rack environment shut down, and the users will have to wait until you complete the upgrade. And in terms of the Oracle Clusterware 4.9i release 2, again, this is the introduction of the Oracle Clusterware. There's no offering for neither the Clusterware, the rolling upgrade for the Clusterware, nor for the ASM. So that means that you would have to have your rack, all of your nodes shut down, like just everything shut down for you to perform their upgrade. Again, that is one of that is one of that's another drawback of just having older technology going as far back as 9i used to. And if you have Oracle Clusterware version 11 release 1, and you're trying to perform an upgrade, basically the rolling upgrade is supported both for the Clusterware and for the ASM. And then you keep in mind, I have these two listed separately, so that means that basically, again, the technology they're still considered as two different entities. So you'll be able to basically perform the Clusterware and perform the upgrade, and have the Clusterware basically just available and service and basically allow for communication between nodes, and you have the ASM still being used as a storage method for the database. And these are just some of the parameters that you have to basically just constantly be on the lookout for throughout the upgrade process. You have to just always be mindful of the local home, the local base, and the over CRS home. Again, these two paths are paths that are actually consistent with today's local technology. This one is a much older path. So again, I have it listed here because you have old technologies here. So this one is definitely going to be. In the slides you're gonna see an evolution. Going from this path to a different path, where you have the different Clusterware, where you actually do the storing for the Clusterware. The different component, the objects and components that basically belong to the Clusterware, they're stored in different paths, and not in this one any longer. And so basically, just in terms of, again, this is a critical question you should ask yourself. What type of environment do you have? What is my OS, and what type of hardware do I have basically installed? And can this hardware is it going to be able to interoperate with the newer versions of Oracle that I'm looking to install? So some components that you have to basically, you might have to do either just keep or sort of try to figure something else out. Basically, you have to basically do a review of your physical server. By physical server, of course, I'm meaning how much capacity you have, and some of the major server manufacturers are IBM, HP, and Oracle. Are you going to are you going to be willing to pay for the premium price for basically for just the popularity and the brand name for these manufacturers of servers. The different components that are part of the server, basically just how durable is the server and how extendable is the server. Again, durable is that would also chime with the brand name. Oracle is known for having really resilient servers. And also same thing with IBM and HP. So basically, just have to figure out what are the costs, and is this a technology that I can afford to just change or upgrade to make an upgrade to, or to release it, or to remain with it as you see fit. And also you have to also just do a review of your physical storage setup. But I mean, of course, what type of device do you have, kind of configured for basically again to provide backup and recoveries. Again, you have what the Oracle you have what's part of Oracle Oracle software offerings. You can perform backups with Oracle. That's you can easily do that. But then again, the backups are being stored somewhere else. So this is where the physical storage setup comes in. Am I guaranteed to have access to those backups and be able to perform recoveries and restores? And again, that's why I also have in reliability. And, are these physical storage components, are they reliable? Are they durable? And also, are they highly available? But I mean, if I experience a disaster recovery, would I be able to perform a sort of a quick restore and recovery to just have the database back up and running in a short amount of time as possible. You also have to consider what type of switches do you have. The different. Again, this is more of a if you're a network, network administrator, networking engineer. So figure out the ports. Do I have a fast or slow switch connection configuration? Do I have a do I have an interconnect? Again, the interconnect that's referring, I'm referring to basically if you have a rack set up, are the different nodes going to be able to communicate, and service the user sessions efficiently? Do I have the right technology for that communication for the servicing of user session? That's just what the switches offer. An example of a switch that you find out there is Cisco, obviously. It's a big name provider of switches. So just do the research on what would be a good fit for your environment, and also also review how much memory space do you have. Can you afford, or will you be able to have to perform an upgrade and still, is the newer version? Is it going to take up more memory than what you currently have? And do you have enough space, currently to handle the increase in memory size? You have to do a review on basically just memory, how much more memory, if the newer release that you potentially be using, and and also again, the number of if you have more memory, let's say, again, the environment is a little bit different. You have more databases, you have more incidents, and you have more resources being used. So it's not just you're not just when you make an upgrade, you're not just upgrading from let's say 10G to 11G. What you're doing is you're doing a overhaul of your IT configuration, for the data, it's at least on the database aspect of it. So basically, you have to basically just do I have enough memory do I can have enough memory to do to do all this servicing that would be required with the new technology. So you have to just also do a review of that, of how much memory space you have. You also have to consider how many CPUs you have. Basically, again, so if you have four CPUs, and from time to time you're doing some parallel, you have parallel thread processes that are running. So you only have four CPUs. What you're doing is you have those, you have basically, you have parallel processes, and that means that you only have a certain amount of processes that are left to actually do the I/O reading for the different requests. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that the more processes you have, obviously, is the better, because if the more processes you have, that's more reading that will be taking place. Actually, no, that's less reading that will be taking place. Uh, and actually, what I meant to say is it's actually reading time, because you always have reads, but basically it's just how long those reads takes. So if you have more processing, then what's going to happen is that the read is going to be quicker. So it's going to be lower reading time, a lower I/O read time. But if you have less CPUs, then basically that's gonna lead to basically just again, number one, you're gonna have a poor performance, but also you're gonna have a high the reading time, the I/O reading time is going to be significantly greater, because basically you have a certain amount of CPUs, and basically they're servicing all these different user sessions, and they have to just try to find service the request. And if they can't, then basically they again, what happens is that this the so they're just there. The CPUs are just there to do one thing, that's do reads, and so they will always have to. They'll always be trying to find service requests. So what you're doing is, if you don't have an adequate number of CPUs available, then basically you have that degradation in performance, and then you would have the user experience just like, again, just really take a hit, because the reads are taking too long, and they have to wait for a long period of time to be able to get responses to their queries. Again, as I've already mentioned, you can use parallel processors, but basically, again, you just have to make sure you have enough CPUs on hand to be able to both perform use the CPUs to perform a particular operation, and also service and also do the servicing for the user request. And also, just give me 1 second, guys. And okay, I'm back. So what I was saying is that, so all of these setups would actually just would actually take influence your the performance of the database, and that communication between from the database to the instance. So you have to just do this, evaluate all these different components, and see if you be able to go forward and perform the upgrade. I'm gonna stop right now, and then I'm gonna pick it back up on the next slide. Thanks a lot for watching.